the effects of the Daimoku, right? So after we chant, Buddhism let me start by prefacing with this. Buddhism is not trying to teach you the absolute truth. Other religions are trying to do that. They have it in their book, they have it in their religion. Buddhism is teaching you truth, the universal truth, through the method of Buddhism, okay? And that is only being understood through yourself, okay? That's our lightning rod, that's our connection. And actually, in scientific terms, it's the best way to kind of cut down on all the noise or the percentage of error. Because the farther you go away from the object of study, percentage of error increases. So Buddhism, in that way, says we're going to study with ourselves. So we chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, in its simplest form, is the title of the Lotus Sutra, Myoho Renge Kyo. What that does is that actually it actualizes and reverberates within our being. So it's not something intellectual, right? So most people think, when I want to learn something, I want to intellectually learn it. That's the first barrier that people experience with Buddhism, because they come to Buddhism and they're like, wait a second, this is supposed to be a religion, you're supposed to tell me what to do, give me some rules, I follow it, that makes me a good person or an enlightened person. No, so people get frustrated by that. Then also, if anyone's read the Lotus Sutra, tell me the absolute truth. Doesn't come out in plain terms, right? The Buddha just keeps turning it back. So therefore, a lot of times, understanding the essence of the Lotus Sutra has to be only understood through our own lives. That's why we're the essential part of Buddhism, our lives. So Buddhism doesn't exist separate from ourselves, and in that way, it exists only within ourselves as well, but also in a universal terms. So together. So therefore, Myoho Renge Kyo is the title of the Lotus Sutra. The wonderful Dharma, or universal truth. That's pretty vague, right? Because you have to experience it. You have to understand it through yourself. Renge, the lotus flower, growing from the mud. From all of the difficulties or from the dirty that we think is terrible, grows this beautiful flower that sustains and grows other flowers as well. And also underneath is a network of roots, all interconnected. And Kyo is the sutra, the book that it's found. Now the Buddha transmits that to us on a deeper level, on a universal level. And when we chant the second meditation, we usually sit in that essence. And that means that lotus flower is growing within ourselves. So we gain insight. So you have all of the faculties to understanding reality, okay? You don't need somebody on TV telling you that, or in a movie, or even in politics, because as we know, politics is really big right now. All of that's not going to fix your life, okay? It may make your life a little better, but ultimately, Buddhism, through ourselves, through our own efforts, through our own cultivation, is how we can be able to understand and realize the ending of suffering. The second meditation, we sit in that, and we kind of bask in it. And Buddhism also goes at a deeper level than understanding it. You taste Buddhism. So the example of Buddhism is tasting Buddhism. What does that mean? If you've ever tasted something really good, you can almost feel it. It gives you chills, right? But also it makes you calm. It makes you happy. Buddhism is like that. It's using all of your senses, all of your faculties to understanding Buddhism. So therefore, as it awakens the lotus inside yourself, you can gain some insight, okay? So does everyone know the 10 realms of Buddhism? So we believe in Buddhism simply, well, this is a theory, that there are 10 realms in our mind. Okay, simply put, the lowest realm is hell. That is not hell in the idea of an underground hell, but the hell of suffering that we can't even think about anything being good in this world. Maybe we've been there in our lives. Maybe we've seen other people. We can't believe there's any good. We're just eternally bound and agitated and unable to consider goodness. That is the worst suffering in Buddhism. Then we move up through a few more realms, but the middle realm is the human realm, right? Now, you may say, well, ultimately I'm a human being, right? But actually in the word human is a humanity, right? So therefore, actually, most humans don't act human at all because they don't have a basic humanity. What does humanity mean? To feel another, to have some empathy, some feeling towards others, that if another person is hurt, it's in our nature as humans, hopefully, to feel as if, oh, we understand the vulnerability of someone else. That's a human realm. So if that's the definition of human, a lot of humans are not operating on that realm. But maybe they're operating on the realm just below it, which is the animal realm, which is just basically acting on instinct. And you can even say, sometimes you see even animals acting on a human realm more than even humans. So therefore, these realms are not necessarily particular to what you look like, right? So even hell mind, you can look like you are a human, but you may be in the hell mind. Then up further, in the enlightened realm, the highest realm we call the Buddha mind. That is the original realm. Now, in the enlightened realm of the Buddha, this realm is able to understand and see all the previous realms. So Buddhism, unlike other traditions, doesn't separate good, bad, evil, right? That you have to come to the good before you can understand enlightenment, right? You have to get out of the mud, you have to give up all your bad habits and all that to understanding the good. Easier said than done. And also, being human beings, being within the realm of human beings with this body, we have some attributes that automatically link us to suffering. Automatically by having this, like birth, old age, and death, right? So therefore, how do we overcome suffering if we are inherently, some of our parts of our body bring on suffering? Buddhism says wherever your mind is, the other minds, including hell, contains the mind of a Buddha. So even in the hell mind, the most suffering place that you can't even imagine any goodness, because you may not even know, imagine somebody being so abused in their life that they never ever understand even what goodness is. They don't even believe in it, right? Sometimes in religion, they would say you need to believe in that. You need to have faith in that before you can understand. For some people, they can't, you know? But actually in Buddhism, it doesn't matter, because suffering mind, we can see the Buddha, because that's inherent in every person and in our mind. So therefore, we don't have to step into the religious or the so-called goodness to understand the Buddha. So wherever we are, whatever is going on, there is the Buddha. So therefore, when we chant Namu Myoho Kyo, we are activating or awakening that seed within all of us. And through that, the second meditation, we gain insight. Now, what does insight mean to everyone? Looking inward, but also when we get insight into something, we can understand its true elements, right? Because usually as humans, the one thing about Buddhism it says about humans, what's our biggest problem? We have tunnel vision, right? So we see everything with our little egos and we say, that's not good, that's not bad. So we have to use those really outdated, archaic systems, right? A very primitive thought. But when we are light, when we even in the realm of hell activate that Buddha's nature, that Buddha's seed, it comes to the forefront of our mind, to our vision. And from there we can see the aspects of reality. And what that means, the Buddha can see all the things that bring together this moment, okay? This moment is not just one thing that just happens. Just like anything in our life, bad things that happen, it's not just one thing. There are a lot of causes and conditions that do that. However, sometimes we can't see them, right? Sometimes they might be even genetics, things that we can't even control, right? But to understand and become awakened to it, that's where Buddhism activates itself and we get an answer for ourselves. What that means is that insight meditation simply means within the mind of the Buddha, which the mind of the Buddha is, can be able to see all possibilities, all awakening. We have that ability. And that's where we gain our faith, because once you touch it, you see it, then you know it's there, okay? Then you can actualize it for yourself, and you can find out and have insight into your life and your problems and issues that you have. So therefore, insight meditation can also be used to deal with a lot of questions, okay? So it's interesting because questions are why most people come here, right? How many people have actually come here because they want to find out some questions about life? I know I did originally. What did the Buddha do to those people? It's interesting because the Buddha had a disciple like that. And he just worked himself up, and he was like, you know, the Buddha's been so aggravating, because it can be aggravating, right? When you don't get answers, especially when you pay money to get answers, and you're like, okay, I want answers. Give me something. I don't care if it's garbage or not, I just want it. And that's enough for me. So one of the Buddha's disciples, and this is the basis of Buddhism, he said, okay, I want to know if there's a God, if there's not a God, okay? I want to know if life is eternal or life is ending at some point. I want to know all of these big answers, okay? And he just gets himself worked up and aggravated with the Buddha, because every time he approaches the Buddha won't give him the answer, but just tells him to practice, okay? Now, so he works himself up and he goes to the Buddha, and he finally sits to the Buddha and he just says, Buddha, I need this answer or else I can't continue the practice. I can't do it anymore. I need an answer. And he's almost saying, in a way, I don't care what answer you give me, just give me an answer. Is the world infinite? All right? Is there a God? Is there not a God? And the Buddha brings about a very important parable, which is one of my favorite, of the poison arrow. I'm sure Kanye has talked about it, where imagine a poison arrow being shot from somewhere, you getting hit, okay, and somebody saying, wow, you just got hit with an arrow, you need medical help. The doctor comes and goes, can I help you? And you say, wait a second. I have some questions first. I have questions about this person who shot me, all right, because I take this very personal. Is this person tall, short, fat, have a beard? Are they wise? Are they not? And then on top of that, I have questions about the arrow. Is the arrow made out of wood or metal? And are the feathers on the arrow shaft made out of turkey or whatever? And the Buddha says, wait a second. You can ask those questions, right? And even if you get the answers, what's going to happen? You're still going to be dead, right? Because of the poison. You have poison seeping through your body. You have a more immediate problem of an arrow sticking out. Like think of the Family Guy, with the glass. Should I keep it in or take it out? That kind of thing. That we're so flailing around. And I told people in my congregation, being a volunteer fireman, I said to people here, and let me ask you guys went to school, what do you do when you're on fire? Somebody said, run! I've seen it happen. Don't run! Don't run! And then people, wait, put out the fire, and they're on fire. The fire becomes bigger. So the idea with the Buddha was that he said, that's all fine and dandy. You can ask those, but the relevance of your life is you have to take care of suffering. The issue of life and death, the poison arrow that's sticking in all of us, and the poison seeping through our body, and time drawing close. Because life doesn't continue forever. I hate to break everyone's feelings about that, but time is of the essence with our lives. And the fact that you came and you asked those questions is important. But Buddhism says we need to gain insight into the Buddha. And then the question comes up, if you become a Buddha, will those questions even matter, right? The kind of questions we ask, right? About God, right? Would it matter? Because wouldn't you kind of understand the essence of it? It wouldn't be a question. It wouldn't be an issue anymore. And would it be relevant to your enlightenment? That's the other important essence. So in Buddhism, that's why Buddhism can't, somebody said, is Buddhism a religion? And someone said, one monk said, for tax purposes. But actually, Buddhism, in many connotations, besides all of the fancy things we have, the essence of Buddhism has nothing to do in that sense. Because it's actually even says the idea of the raft. There's a raft, there's a parable about the raft that taking a raft to the other shore, first of all, seeing the other shore, making the effort, using your arms and legs, and finally getting to the other shore, carrying this raft, right? Do you continue to carry the raft once you reach the shore? No, the raft was used to that. But people worship the raft sometimes. They're like, oh, this was a great raft that got me from there to there. I'm going to take it with me, right? But Buddhism almost in a way says, wait a second, at some point, maybe even your path or your idea might change. That the vehicle you think it is, it changes. So therefore, in dogmatic terms, Buddhism is kind of making itself almost irrelevant at some point. Because once you get into the essence, understand the insight, you don't, in that form, because you are it, you live it. That's the idea of the Buddha, someone who is awakened. So tonight as we chant Daimoku, don't You don't need to think. Feel, like Bruce said. Don't think, feel. But the idea is, when we chant the Daimoku, we bring out our Buddha nature. Okay? And actually, intellectual thought is good, and you can use it. That's fine. And please grow that. But then again, intellectual thought is about one part of who we are. But in the West especially, we focus a lot on intellectualism. So people, when they first come to the temple, they're like, what should I focus on? What should I be thinking while I chant? The idea is action is very important. The essence is there. Then we're able to, when we do insight, we're going to repeat to understand tonight, Namu. What does Namu mean to anyone?
Kaishin.
I pay
Give me money?
homage to.
Pay homage.
Pay homage
To who?
to the Buddha himself,
Okay.
the Dharma,
Uh-huh.
Sangha.
Sangha? Okay, well, you pulled that one off pretty well. That was a good answer. Namu comes from the word namas. Okay, does anyone know namas? If you've taken yoga, they go namas. Why do we do that in Buddhism? In Buddhist countries, especially.
I think it's because you're recognizing and giving respect to everyone.
That's right. It means to acknowledge someone's understand potential. Look up the word namas. It's pretty interesting. Namu. The two single words by themselves mean self and empty, right? Everyone knows mu from Zen, right? But Namu. Namu together means honor be, or adoration of, or respect of, but there's a deeper meaning to it. So that's where we're going to do tonight with insight meditation. So tonight we're going to focus on Namu, because when we check Namu, this is just the word Namu before you put anything after it. Namu Buddhaya, right? Namu Butsu, Namu Ho, Namu So. That's honor be to the Dharma, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, right? That changes things than just Buddha. So tonight, while we're doing insight, one of the techniques that we use is to repeat something from the sutra that inculcates that meaning. So tonight we will recite this together. So we'll recite a few times to go again, and then when we're sitting, we'll do it. So the idea is to have a focus point, a phrase from the sutra. Tonight we're going to read, I believe, chapter 16, with wish to see me with all their hearts, even at the cost of their lives. Right? And let's see that. Because this is the essence of Namu. Is the bottom one the sutra?
Right.
Has anyone ever read that in the sutra? Yes? Did you remember that one? This is perfect.
Oh, Nathan has the Murano.
Can I use the one?
We only have one copy of Murano.
Didn't I bring you more? Oh, I get the issue next time.
No problem.
So the Buddha says here, the mind of the person who says Namu, Namas, the kind of faith that we talk about in Buddhism. The Buddha says, what's the purpose of the Buddha in teaching? What is his main idea? What does the Buddha do this? What's his wish?
Everyone in line.
To see everyone enlightened. This is at the end of chapter 16. That's why this is what we check. This is why I so I am always thinking, how shall I cause all living beings to enter into the unsurpassed way and quickly become Buddhas? That's the only purpose of the Buddha. It's the only purpose of Buddhism. Namu, when we say Namu, Namas, and wish to see me, he says, the Buddha says here, when they make offerings to me, so we're here, right? So this is the purpose of all this, okay? This is to inspire something. When we make offerings to the Buddha and adore me, admire me, become devout, upright, and gentle, and wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives, I reappear on Mount Sacred Eagle with my Sangha. So therefore, what do we mean when we say Namu? What must be inculcated in Namu to bring about this understanding? The Buddha says here, and wish to see me, right? When we're chanting Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, what are we wishing for? We wish to see the Buddha. Because the Buddha itself is actually a state, okay? That's why they say Buddha Shakyamuni, the sage of the Shakya, the Buddha of the Shakya. There are many Buddhas. With all their hearts, that's the human element, with all their hearts, their sincerity, at the cost of their lives. What does that mean? That sounds pretty severe. Why at the cost of their lives? It's the poison arrow. Because people don't understand the importance of what we do in our lives. We don't take our lives as seriously as we should, right? We really don't. I mean, some people can pretend they think that they, are arrogant, but usually that's paper thin. I mean, they have some issues. But in reality, even at the cost of their lives, that means above all, because what is the basic form of human animal even, is survival, right? So if survival is your enlightenment, right, which most people are, or a desire, where is enlightenment on your scale of importance, right? Is that just Friday night importance? Well, actually, Friday night, for you guys coming Friday night, that was pretty good. That's why I say put it on Friday night, and we'll actually see the people who's invited instead of, all right, let's go dance or something. Because even at the cost of our lives, we even hold enlightenment above, even at our lives. That means a top priority. That is what Namu means. So within the essence of Namu is contained this idea, and wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. So when we do insight meditation, I will repeat this. And you repeat this, memorize, and you can say it at any time during your meditation to refocus yourself and wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. So let's say it together once. And wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. So therefore, when you are meditating, you can focus on this. So before that, we put a Namu, Namu, and wish to see me with all their hearts, even at the cost of their lives. We say that. That's the meaning of Namu. So we try to understand the insight of the essence of Namu, okay? So that's quite different than the meditation we did before, right? So therefore, now the idea is, this is a formula. And insight into each of these are essential. Nichiren Shonin, when most people don't ever talk about it in any forms of Nichiren Buddhism, but it's true. Nichiren Shonin was on Mount Hiei. He was initiated into these teachings, for sure. So tonight we'll initiate ourselves too. Right. Okay? So let us begin.
Chuck, for you, Jonathan. Sessions that were lights. When do you want them to offer?
We're going to do that now.
So
So tonight, at the beginning here, let us offer, first we'll purify ourselves, okay? Has everyone done that before? So we offer incense, then we put over our head, over our shoulders, over our head, over our shoulders, over our head, and then you come down the whole body with the smoke of this incense. So just do it one time. And also we can push it in. Like, so can we do this? Wait, like this. Wait. I got you. Okay? So please everyone come up. We do a donation, please offer donation, and also I think we can lower it just a little bit, because the lights, you don't have a dimmer,
We
right?
do.
Just so you can see if that's good.
And then if you'll take it and prop the door slightly closer to you. Wait.
So this dojo is very hot, so even with the festival, you're alive.
Wait till you come in August and September.
Oh,
It can be over 100 degrees.
Over.
Yeah, we need circulation, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the air conditioning should be good.
I should feel.
Don't be shy, you guys can come up.
Yeah, you can line up. You can go ahead and stand and line up. It's okay. That's it. How's that?
That's so good, we just need them on for reading for the beginning and then.
So, change it to those things. Hold on, these, you want some off.
So purpose of Shodaigo also is, the main point should be lit is here. So now you are getting huge mohongo, so now the candles should be lit there, you see. That's why these candles should be used.
I see.
So the incense that we do, why do we do it this way? Incense we have applicable to skin. Also, it's purifying our body, purifying our nose, our taste, all of that. But actually, when we do incense appreciation, they don't say smell the incense, they say taste the incense. Is that everyone want a question? So today also, you chanted the Daimoku slowly before, right? Today we will be doing a different style of Shodaigo. This Shodaigo is a slow, fastest, slow, slowest. So just to follow me. And try to chant loudly and also direct your voice up. So when we chant Namu, we don't chant from our throat. We chant from our heart, our spiritual place. So we chant. Namu Renge Kyo. You should be able to fill up the room with your voice. Doesn't have to be like that, but everybody's voice is different, okay? Now the idea with Shodaigyo is that all the different bodhisattvas, all the different teachers, they all come together to make the Dharma, okay? Because your voice doesn't have to sound like mine. You don't have to go through the ascetic training and break your voice or make it sound like but actually your voice, find your true voice. And what that means is don't tense your throat. So your abdomen, did you teach that in the cardio?
Right. Some since we have a lot of new people though too that haven't heard the teaching.
So one thing before we start, this will make your spiritual experience different. In order, this is yoga everything. In order to understand how to get to the deeper level of mind, you have to use your abdominal breathing. Okay? What that means is you put your hands on your stomach like this. Okay? Now I want you to exhale. And exhale that you push in and up. So you'll feel your stomach muscles tension. So, okay, don't move this part. And then inhale and extend it like a balloon. So you can also put your hand here on your chest to feel if you're moving that. You shouldn't move. You should move everything from your stomach. So you try to extend as much as you can out. So you push in and up. And then also breathing, this is specific, actually elongates life. If you are a chest breather or you're abdomen breather. So there's not a magic thing that's happening. You're just expelling more of the air. And what do we need to be alive, folks? Air, oxygen, right? So we want to inhale. Now you can't exhale all the oxygen in your body or else you die. But actually, you probably couldn't stand it. But you can feel it that when you exhale. And also for the spiritual experience, this actually will control your mood, your brain, everything. So therefore, when we're doing meditation, breathe with your abdomen. When you're chanting, breathe with your abdomen. So you chant as much as you can, and then quickly inhale, and keep chanting and chanting. So chant as many times as you can. The other time you chanted one time for one breath. But this time I want you to chant as many times as you can. And also try to chant out. So Nichiren Buddhism is positive, okay? So we're not doing the guttural thing. That happens to me because that's how my voice is. But we don't want to sound like, we don't need to do that, okay? So we are positive, out and out, okay? So let us begin. So everyone together, let us do today. We'll do a bow. Okay. Put your hands in kasho. Bow. Come back up. Please open your chanting book. This is something indeed which we should all know together. This place in which we find ourselves now is a dojo, a place of Buddhist training. All Buddhas come to this place and attain perfect enlightenment. All Buddhas come to this place and turn the wheel of the Dharma. All Buddhas come to this place and enter into Nirvana. It is difficult to be born as a human being. I have now realized such a birth. To hear the teaching of the Buddha is difficult. I have now been able to hear it. I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Next, please prepare yourself for meditation. feel your body. You can sway yourself left to right, like a pendulum, finding your center, front, back. If you're in the chair, move up forward so that your hips and your feet can gently touch the ground. You shouldn't feel any tension in your thighs. That's why we move up to the front and sit in the back. Sit up straight. Put your chin in, relax your shoulders back. And we'll put our hands into Hokai Join, which is the cosmic mudra. Left hand on top, right hand on the bottom, thumbs touching. And gently put it into your lap. Now for meditation, the breathing is that we exhale. 1, inhale 2, exhale 3, and count up to 10. If we miss our place, we come back to 1. This is a way of focusing our minds. So therefore, if you go off into a thought, go back to 1. Maintain your calmness. Try not to move so that you can calmly quiet the mind and the body. Meditation. Please open your eyes and place your hands into your left shoulder. We'll focus our eyes towards the wound in the front. Now keeping that same mindset. We perform insight meditation. Prepare yourself for meditation questions. Just take one deep breath in. Exhale. Now take your hands, breathing in the Dharma. Up. And exhale with your hands turned outwards. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Place your hands in Hokai joining. Now we will recite together our focus of meditation. And wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. One more time. And wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. One final time. And wish to see me with all their hearts at the cost of their lives. Focus on this in your eternal mind, eternal eye. If you need to at any time, softly and gently, not shouting, repeat this phrase as to regain your focus. Deep meditation. Before we say the phrase, we say Namu. We wish to see speak with the husband. We wish to see. Picturing the mind's eye Namu. So that's what. When we speak it, make sure we speak it all over. So, here. Namu. We wish to see all the hearts. We're not thinking of the phrase means. It's just sitting with this. We wish to see all the hearts. Please open your hands and place them in your brushing. Once again, let us breathe in the down now. Our hands up. Exhale. Forward. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Pushing out. Let us read the echo here. I respect you deeply.
We will all be able to practice the way of bodhisattvas and become Buddhas. May the merits I have accumulated by this offering be distributed among all living beings. May I and all the living beings attain the enlightenment of the Buddha.
Hi. Carl. Can you turn up the lights a little bit? Hi, everyone. Stand up for a moment and don't fall over. Stretch your legs and move around, and then you'll have a nice conversation so you can concentrate.